Everybody say, say, how can I express my gratitude for all the many things you've done for me? Words are not enough, to say thank you. So Lord, you are my everything. You're my everything. How can
another lovely Saturday afternoon where we meet all together on the platform BWTV and we bring you the community and the law. Very bright and sunny out there, and I know you are also very ready for a bright and sunny and very lovely golden discussion on the program. The community and the law brings you adequate maintenance of child entry or for child entry clearance application. Now, we're going to do some calculations here today on the program. So you get your calculators ready, get your notepads ready, and also get your questions ready because our resource person, Charles Asma, a solicitor of BWF Solicitors, will be on hand to help us unravel all these things. There are various updates that have come, so I am going to get off my sleeve and give them to you live on the program. It's the community and the law next. Hello. There are several questions in the community when it comes to the law, especially with immigration matters. That is why I'm inviting you to join us on the program, The Community and the Law, live on BWTV and brought to you by BWF Solicitors, our trusted partners when it comes to the law. We are going to have a very massive discussion on some of the issues of immigration matters that bother you. And they have the opportunity to meet you live on the program to explain to you all the updates that have come from the Home Office and also address your questions and concerns that you might have when it comes to the law. The Community and the Law is brought to you every Saturday between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. UK time. We're live on all social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, at BWF Solicitors, at BWTV, and of course, we urge you to share the program and invite others to join us. Remember, it's at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. every Saturday, live on BWTV. You have your questions. There are answers. So join us, learn, and empower yourself on the program, The Community and the Law. So pick up the phone and dial 0208 493 734. My name is Oreku Frimpon, and I am your host.
Based in London, we are a dynamic award-winning firm specialising in a range of legal services. Welcome to BWF Solicitors, a trusted and experienced law firm specialising in immigration and nationality, appeals and judicial review, dispute resolution, family and matrimonial, and other family law disputes with international context. These include matters such as private child arrangement orders, contestant and uncontested divorce, non-molestation for domestic violence, and financial remedy. Our childcare and family team appreciate the issues facing you at such a difficult time. Our advice is delivered in a confidential and sensitive manner. Meet Bernard Owusu, our esteemed senior partner. With over 32 years of experience and known for his expertise and dedication to serving our clients and the community. BWF Solicitors stands for integrity, respect, excellence, teamwork, diversity, inclusion, and service to the community. We provide tailored assistance specific to your case. At BWF Solicitors, every day is filled with dedication, creativity, and a commitment to finding the best solutions for our clients. Our team at BWF Solicitors is ready to assist you with all your legal needs. You can find us at the 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NP. Our main office line is 0208 493 7340, or our emergency line is 07712 761 884.
When you've got Akasi Bringpong, Minister OJ, Alexa Champong, and Diana Hamilton, what have you got? It can only be the return of Emmanuel Praise, brought to you by Alexa Champong Ministries. On Sunday, 26th of May, at the Pavilion, 143 to 145 Oxford Road, Reading, RG1 7UY. Doors open at 5. Tickets are £30 standard, £50 VIP, which includes your VIP seat, meet and greet and take pictures with artists, VIP snacks, water and drink, and an under 18 concession rate of £15. Get yours at alexchampong.com or call +44 744 741 7321. Emmanuel Praise with Minister OJ, Akasi Bringpong, Diana Hamilton, and Alexa Champong. You will be blessed.
Hello. I know you're doing so very well. I know you are so ready for us, and we're also very excited to be coming your way with the community. And my name is Oreku Frimpon, and I'm privileged to be your host this afternoon. We're bringing you a very interesting discussion, and it's going to be something that would help you put together an application for child entering into the UK, and you need a clearance. Adequate maintenance for child entry clearance application is what's going to be our focus this afternoon. And we're going to look at how to calculate the amount required. We will be also touching briefly on what the other requirement is when it is that you put in that application together. Lawyer Charles Asma, our resource person and guest from BWF Solicitors, will be on hand to do that. Now, quite apart from that, we also want to, first of all, welcome you to the program and again, recognize your presence, contribution, and your desire to share the program with others so that they can also enjoy the benefit of the knowledge you are having. So if you join as you go to the page BWF Solicitors on Facebook, BWF Solicitors on YouTube, and all the social media platform, TikTok and all the other bits. But when you go there, but the other platform we're using is BWTV, both on Facebook and YouTube. Now, when you go there, what we expect you to do is to like the page, announce yourself in the comment section down below, and also pick up the link and share with others. Then you subscribe to the channel and click on the notification button so that anytime that we put content on, you will be alerted. So, brothers, sisters, ladies and gentlemen, get yourself ready. Get your cups of tea. It's a bit hot in the afternoon, so get something cold to drink, and let's get into this together. Now, the first thing that I will be doing is BWF Solicitors earlier in the week put out the nugget. The nugget is that bit of information where we ask you to take note of certain things that are happening, and we test your knowledge on that as well. Now, let's look at this. Domestic violence, indefinite leave to remain eligibility requirement. Now, before I go into this, I must admit that most people in the ethnic minority communities, especially in African communities, are facing a lot of abuse. And there is an escape route for you to get out of that. And especially those who are facing abuse because your partner is the person that sponsored your stay here in the UK, and sometimes they threaten you with all sorts of things. Now, listen, there is something real good for you. So let's look at this one. You can apply if you have or have had a visa to stay in the UK as the partner of someone who is a British citizen, a person with permission to settle in the UK permanently, that is indefinite leave to remain or enter, a person with pre-settled or settled status under the EU settlement scheme. Another bit is a member of the UK Armed Forces who has served for at least 4 years, a person with permission to stay in the UK as a refugee. You must also show that your relationship broke down because of domestic violence or abuse from your partner or your partner's family. Now, this is picked from Appendix Victim of Domestic Abuse to the Immigration Rules. Like Osma, and definitely will be looking at that for us. What I will be asking, my question first of all will be, you must show that your relationship broke down because of domestic violence or abuse from your partner or your partner's family. How do you show that? What are the things that you would have done to show that, one, you are fleeing domestic violence or you're still staying in it and you have the desire to go out of that? And when you have fled domestic violence, what do you do to help you get indefinite leave to remain? So let's go over that bit again. You can apply if you have or have had a visa to stay in the UK as a partner of someone who is a British citizen, a person with permission to settle in the UK permanently, that is indefinite leave to remain or enter, a person with pre-settled or settled status under the EU settlement scheme, a member of the UK Armed Forces who served for at least 4 years, or a person with permission to stay in the UK as a refugee. And I would want to reiterate and repeat that you must also show that your relationship broke down because of domestic violence or abuse from your partner or your partner's family. As I said, Appendix Victim of Domestic Abuse to the Immigration Rules is where we picked this one. So let me tease your thinking a bit. If I asked you this question at the tail end of the program, that is a quiz that I'll bring you. If I ask you this question based on this nugget I gave you, let me see if I could get a question on here for you. If I asked you the question in a scenario like this one, like there's a story. Adwoa Mensah came to the UK as the partner of an EEA citizen with settled status, also known as indefinite leave to remain. She applied and was granted pre-settled status. Adwoa Mensah has unfortunately experienced domestic abuse in her marriage and has been sent out of her matrimonial home. Okay, so that's the scenario. Now, can Adwoa Mensah apply for indefinite leave on the basis of having experienced domestic violence? I have three options for you. So let's look at all these three before I get you to go away and think about that. And I'll bring it back at the tail end of the program and see if you could get it right. The first of the options is she's a spouse of an EEA citizen and therefore cannot apply for indefinite leave to remain. B, as a second bit, says she meets the eligibility requirements because she is a partner of a person with settled status under Appendix EU, and her relationship has broken down, and therefore she can successfully apply for indefinite leave to remain if she has the necessary supporting evidence to back it up. Then the third bit, so 1, B, and C, she can apply for further leave to remain after 5 years on another route. Think about it. If you look at the nugget and the list of criteria points that I read out, look at that and just oppose that to this one and tell me what the correct answer will be. So, well, I'll bring it back at the tail end of the program, so don't you worry about that. The nugget here is saying you can apply if you have had had a visa, stay in the UK as a partner of someone, and the list is there. So look at that. We'll come back again. Well, within the week, there were other updates that I want to bring your attention to. Good news for care workers who want to switch to another employer. Did you hear that? There's good news for care workers who want to switch to another employer. So somebody's brought you in from outside of the UK and you would want to switch to somebody else who you find a bit more comfortable to work with. What is the good news? A new care visa sponsor database which lists all social care providers licensed to sponsor skilled worker visas is out. The database is from the Home Office's list of all visa sponsors and data from the Care Quality Commission. The list is updated on a daily basis. So the link is there. HTTPS, that's the website, autonomy.work/care-visa-sponsor-database-that. So if you go on to that website, you will see a whole list of the information that we are talking about. So yeah, we have that on the screen for you at the moment. Care Visa Sponsor Database. This is a database of UK's social care providers licensed to sponsor workers' visas. It was adapted from a tool developed by the Bureau of Investigative Journalism for its investigation into the exploitation faced by workers who came to the UK on the health and care visa. The resource, or this particular resource, has been created to fill a gap in existing publicly available information. While the UK government publishes a list of all skilled worker visa sponsors, it does not specify the sectors in which different companies operate. So during their investigation, many workers said that they do not know which care providers can sponsor workers, and it made it difficult to change their employers and escape an exploitative situation. So they created that website. They combined data from the Home Office's list of all visa sponsors with the Health Watchdog, the Care Quality Commission's Register of Regulated Services. Then consequently, there were gaps in the data, and some care providers which were licensed to sponsor workers in the situation were not included. So when they found out that, they said, well, then let's look at how we can bridge that gap and put in things in place. So how do you look for that? You can, there are a few search buttons there. You can search by postcode, where you are or where the organization may be. You can also search by location, so you select a location, or you can, so there's a lot of them. There's London, Birmingham, Portsmouth, Southampton, Liverpool, Sheffield, Leicester, Edinburgh, Worthing, many of them. Okay, so you can also filter by organization if you actually know the name of the organization. So let's do a little example here. So I would say West Sussex Care Services. So I can put in West Sussex, and you see it comes up on top. Then you know you have your postcode, which is BN148PM, and what town it's found in is Worthing, and the name of the organization is Support Solutions West Sussex. So this will help you. But if, for instance, you want to search by the postcode, so let's put in N15 for NP. That postcode, what would it bring up? We search. Well, it's in London, but it brings up all the organizations that are in N15 postcode, and you can find so many of them. N15 for NA, N15 for RI, N15 for QL, so many of them. So this is how you can use this very powerful tool. And they give you the opportunity to download the sponsor list, so you can keep it probably on your phone there. So as highlighted, you can download the sponsor list and keep it for yourself. This is real good news, and BWF Solicitors is trying to help us look at all these. So you go to that database, you can look for an organization that has a license, and you may approach them to say, well, I want to switch with you. I know that you have vacancies left, right, and center. I know that you are a very worthy sponsor in the A list, so I would want to work with you. If they have the vacancy and they are okay with you, maybe you can get them to get you a contract so you can switch from one area to the other. That will also be looked at when I bring in Lawyer Charles Asma. So let me keep on doing my updates. Another one that came, good news for students and their dependents. Remember, back in the day, we mentioned that now students cannot sponsor their dependents to come join them during the course of their study here in the UK. What is happening? Now, let's look at this. The Migration Advisory Committee, MAC, has recommended that the graduate route should be retained in its current form. After a rapid review of the evidence, the committee has found no widespread abuse of the route and recommended that no changes be made. Well, this is a recommendation. I don't know, Lawyer Charles Asma, when you come in, please let us know. This is a recommendation. I don't know whether it's taking place or not, but for expert advice and assistance with some of these applications and explanations, please speak to the specialist lawyers from BWF Solicitors. The numbers are 0208 493 7340, 0208 493 7340, or 077 127 61884, 077 127 6188 for another good news for students and their dependents. So we've done the one for care workers, we've done the one for the community in the update. Then let's look at, okay, this is the previous one I mentioned. So let's look at, well, we've got three, haven't we? I've mentioned the one for people facing domestic abuse. I've mentioned the one for care workers who would want to switch from one employer to the other. And I've also mentioned the students who have the opportunity. And I would want to dare say that this is a recommendation. So it may not have happened yet. The proposition has come that the route and the workings of it be changed. But the Migration Advisory Committee has recommended. So when the recommendation is carried through, we may have to go back to how it was, and students can bring their dependents to be with them during the course of their study here in the UK. With these, I would want to say, well, you have some good news, you have some updates, we are up to date. So stay with us, and we'll get into some discussion right after these messages.
Based in London, we are a dynamic award-winning firm specialising in a range of legal services. Welcome to BWF Solicitors, a trusted and experienced law firm specialising in immigration and nationality, appeals and judicial review, dispute resolution, family and matrimonial, and other family law disputes with international context. These include matters such as private child arrangement orders, contestant and uncontested divorce, non-molestation for domestic violence, and financial remedy. Our childcare and family team appreciate the issues facing you at such a difficult time. Our advice is delivered in a confidential and sensitive manner. Meet Bernard Owusu, our esteemed senior partner. With over 32 years of experience and known for his expertise and dedication to serving our clients and the community. BWF Solicitors stands for integrity, respect, excellence, teamwork, diversity, inclusion, and service to the community. We provide tailored assistance specific to your case. At BWF Solicitors, every day is filled with dedication, creativity, and a commitment to finding the best solutions for our clients. Our team at BWF Solicitors is ready to assist you with all your legal needs. You can find us at the 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NP. Our main office line is 0208 493 7340, or our emergency line is 07712 761 884.
When you've got Akasi Pong, Minister OJ, Alexa Champong, and Diana Hamilton, what have you got? It can only be the return of Emmanuel Praise, brought to you by Alexa Champong Ministries. On Sunday, 26th of May, at the Pavilion, 143 to 145 Oxford Road, Reading, RG1 7UY. Doors open at 5. Tickets are £30 standard, £50 VIP, which includes your VIP seat, meet and greet and take pictures with artists, VIP snacks, water and drink, and an under 18 concession rate of £15. Get yours at alexchampong.com or call +44 744 741 7321. Emmanuel Praise with Minister OJ, Akasi Pong, Diana Hamilton, and Alexa Champong. You will be blessed.
Hello, welcome back, and thank you for sticking around. I have seen that a few of you have started answering the question online. So I'll go back to it and see if your participation really is going the right way. And I must say that I have the honor of my dear colleague Pamela with me. So we'll be looking at this together. Adjoa Mensah came to the UK as the partner of an EEA citizen who has settled status and also known as indefinite leave to remain. She applied and was granted pre-settled status. Adjoa Mensah has unfortunately experienced domestic abuse in her marriage and has been sent out of her matrimonial home. Can Adjoa Mensah apply for indefinite leave on the basis of having experienced domestic violence? 3 options I gave you. So let's go through them again. As I said, Pamela will join me and we'll see what answers you have given us. She is the spouse of an EEA citizen and therefore cannot apply for indefinite leave to remain. She meets the eligibility requirements because she is a partner of a person with settled status under Appendix EU, and her relationship is broken down, and therefore she can successfully apply for indefinite leave to remain if she has the necessary supporting evidence to back it up. She can also apply, or that's an option, she can apply for further leave to remain after 5 years on another route. So let's see on what basis did I get this case study and also the options I gave you. It's in the nugget, so let's see how the nugget goes. Well, this is the update. Let's go into that. Yes, you can apply for indefinite leave to remain, domestic violence, indefinite leave to remain, and the eligibility requirements are as follows. Now, Pamela, let's see if you can help us with that. Yes. No, you will go back to the question. No, this is a question, yes. But I based the question on the nugget, which says that you can apply if you have or have had a visa or a visa to stay in the UK as a partner of that, and who is. So what are some of them, Pammy?
Okay, so you can do that if your partner is a British citizen or a person with permission to settle in the UK permanently. That's indefinite leave to remain or enter. Or if your partner is a person with pre-settled or settled status under the EU settlement scheme, or a member of the UK Armed Forces who has served for at least 4 years, or a person with permission to stay in the UK as a refugee. You must also show that your relationship broke down because of domestic violence or abuse from your partner or your partner's family. So that's very important to show.
Okay, so then I'm not going to ask you the question, but we're going to see what answers people have brought in. So let's pick up the question again. The three options. Can you take us through them again? So can a Joe apply for indefinite leave on the basis of having experienced domestic violence? What are the options we give them?
Okay, so the possible answers we're giving are that A, she is the spouse of an EEA citizen and therefore cannot apply for indefinite leave to remain. B, she meets the eligibility requirements because she's a partner of a person with settled status under Appendix EU and her relationship has broken down, and therefore she can successfully apply for the indefinite leave to remain if she has the necessary supporting evidence to back it up. And finally, C, she can apply for further leave to remain after 5 years on another route. So these are the three possible answers we've given the public, and we are going to see some of the answers some people have brought us in relation to the question asked.
Well, you have seen those answers, so I'll ask you to see what they are. So what are some of the answers?
Okay, so we've gotten Kelvin as someone who thinks the answer is B. She meets the eligibility requirements because she's a partner of a person with settled status under Appendix EU and her relationship has broken down, and therefore she can successfully apply for indefinite leave if she has the necessary supporting evidence to back it up. Then we have Charles Emery, who also thinks the answer is the same, B. We also have Santiago Munez, who is following the same route by thinking the answer is B. We've got Yao in team, who is also saying the answer is B. So clearly a lot of people think the answer is B. We've got Young Hustle, who is also going for B. We have Abigail Jolie, who thinks the answer is also B. And Robert Jamfi, who is also going for B. We've got Kojo Ado, who thinks the answer
I think Kojo is watching us on YouTube. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Welcome, Kojo Ado. We have Tilly Duma, who also says the answer is B. So clearly, A and C don't have any competition here because everybody's going for B.
Well, definitely at the right time, we will be getting into the scenario where we can give you the right answer with the explanation from lawyer Charles Asma. So think about it, and you can change your mind if you think that that's not the correct answer. The basis of this question is the nugget that we gave you, and it's talking about people who are facing domestic violence can apply for indefinite leave to remain, and the criteria was there, clearly listed. Well, keep thinking about that. But we're coming up with a discussion on the topic, and let's look at what we're looking at. Adequate maintenance for child entry clearance. So what are the things we need to do? How do you calculate that? What figures are you using to put together and maybe multiply, divide, or take away that will help you meet the requirement? Lawyer Charles Asma will be telling us that, and he will be joining myself and Pamela very shortly, and we'll bring you the rest of the discussion after these.
Based in London, we are a dynamic award-winning firm specialising in a range of legal services. Welcome to BWF Solicitors, a trusted and experienced law firm specialising in immigration and nationality, appeals and judicial review, dispute resolution, family and matrimonial, and other family law disputes with international context. These include matters such as private child arrangement orders, contestant and uncontestant divorce, non-molestation for domestic violence, and financial remedy. Our childcare and family team appreciate the issues facing you at such a difficult time. Our advice is delivered in a confidential and sensitive manner. Meet Bernard Owusu, our esteemed senior partner. With over 32 years of experience and known for his expertise and dedication to serving our clients and the community. BWF Solicitors stands for integrity, respect, excellence, teamwork, diversity, inclusion, and service to the community. We provide tailored assistance specific to your case. At BWF Solicitors, every day is filled with dedication, creativity, and a commitment to finding the best solutions for our clients. Our team at BWF Solicitors is ready to assist you with all your legal needs. You can find us at the 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NP. Our main office line is 0208 493 7340, or our emergency line is 07712 761 884.
When you've got Akasi Pong, Minister OJ, Alexa Champong, and Diana Hamilton, what have you got? It can only be the return of Emmanuel Praise, brought to you by Alexa Champong Ministries. On Sunday, 26th of May, at the Pavilion, 143 to 145 Oxford Road, Reading, RG1 7UY. Doors open at 5. Tickets are £30 standard, £50 VIP, which includes your VIP seat, meet and greet and take pictures with artists, VIP snacks, water and drink, and an under 18 concession rate of £15. Get yours at alexchampong.com or call +44 744 741 7321. Emmanuel Praise with Minister OJ, Akasi Pong, Diana Hamilton, and Alexa Champong. You will be blessed.
Hello. There are several questions in the community when it comes to the law, especially with immigration matters. That is why I'm inviting you to join us on the program, The Community and the Law, live on BWTV and brought to you by BWF Solicitors, our trusted partners when it comes to the law. We are going to have a very massive discussion on some of the issues of immigration matters that bother you. And they have the opportunity to meet you live on the program to explain to you all the updates that have come from the Home Office and also address your questions and concerns that you might have when it comes to the law. The Community and the Law is brought to you every Saturday between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. UK time. We're live on all social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, at BWF Solicitors, at BWTV, and of course, we urge you to share the program and invite others to join us. Remember, it's at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. every Saturday, live on BWTV. You have your questions. There are answers. So join us, learn, and empower yourself on the program, The Community and the law. So pick up the phone and dial 0208 493 7345, or you can send a text 07950 422 780. It's the community and the law. My name is Oreku Frimpong, and I am your host.
When you've got Akasi Pong, Minister OJ, Alexa Champong, and Diana Hamilton, what have you got? It can only be the return of Emmanuel Praise, brought to you by Alexa Champong Ministries. On Sunday, 26th of May, at the Pavilion, 143 to 145 Oxford Road, Reading, RG1 7UY. Doors open at 5. Tickets are £30 standard, £50 VIP, which includes your VIP seat, meet and greet and take pictures with artists, VIP snacks, water and drink, and an under 18 concession rate of £15. Get yours at alexachampong.com or call +44 744 741 7321. Emmanuel Praise with Minister OJ, Akasi Pong, Diana Hamilton, and Alexa Champong. You will be blessed. When you've got Akasi Pong, Minister OJ.
Yes, welcome back, and thank you very much for sticking around. Adequate maintenance for child entry clearance. How do you do the calculation so you meet that requirement? We're going to go into that pretty shortly. Lawyer Charles Asma, as I said, is our resource person and our guest for this afternoon. Remember, we're doing this by courtesy of BWF Solicitors, our trusted partners when it comes to the law. They are on the 4th floor of the Anna House, 214 to 218 Tottenham High Road, Seven Sisters. Now, if you go by public transport, you need the Victoria line. Alight at the Seven Sisters station, use exit number 2. That brings you to the frontage of the Anna House. Climb up to the 4th floor, and they are there Monday to Friday, 9:30 in the morning and 6 p.m. in the evening. Remember, the number is 0208 493 7340. 0208 493 7340, or the emergency 077 127 61884. 077 127 61884. Yes, I've tested your brains. I've kept you in suspense because I needed to see how very closely you're following us. And now it's about time I brought in Lawyer Charles Asma to help us unravel that. So before we go on, Lawyer Asma, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Very good afternoon.
I've played your role a bit. I've tried to explain as much as possible because I'm a layperson, and tried to get people, especially those who have faced domestic violence, to let them know that there's an opportunity somewhere.
Yeah, I see the beauty of all this epitomizes what BWF stands for. Empowerment, development. It's all about investing in people and making people independent and making people feel that they are empowered to do things which are extraordinary, even though they are ordinary people. And therefore, to have the lawyer stay aside and watch the lay people deliver.
You're making my head swell so much.
Watch the lay people deliver and marking and nodding. All this while tells the community that BWF Justice has a lot.
So did I do well?
Of course. And that's why we're nodding and saying, wow. And giving you the thumbs up.
Okay, no. So let me just then get you back into your stride. Domestic violence. I mentioned earlier on that many people within our community are facing that. Some have been able to speak up, but there's something that the Home Office, the UK government has put in place to allow that people, if not speaking up, have an escape route sort of. And that's what you gave as a nugget. So let's look at it again, and I'll get to Lawyer Charles Asma to help us with that. You can apply if you have or have had a visa to stay in the UK as a partner of someone who is a British citizen. A British citizen, a person with permission to settle in the UK permanently, that is indefinitely to remain or enter. A person with pre-settled status or settled status under the EU settlement scheme. A member of the UK Armed Forces who has served for at least 4 years. A person with permission to stay in the UK as a refugee. And then the caveat is you must also show that your relationship broke down because of domestic violence or abuse from your partner or your partner's family. Yeah, that's where I got stuck. Let us in on it.
Right, yes. So just as you started, and great job so far. I mean, so good. Well done to you both. And viewers and listeners, once again, the nugget echoes what we have told you previously, that if you are experiencing domestic violence, please don't suffer in silence and wallow in that loneliness or situation, but there's help available. Help in terms of regularizing your immigration status. And here we're looking at those who have been given 2.5 years as spouses of people who are British citizens in terms of Appendix FM applications, and also those who are partners of the armed forces, what we call the servicemen under Appendix Armed Forces, or those who are spouses of EU nationals with leave to remain in the UK under Appendix UU. So you can see that we've touched Appendix FM, Appendix UU, Appendix Armed Forces. We haven't touched Appendix students, so students are not part of this conversation. We haven't touched Appendix skilled workers, so skilled workers are not part of this conversation. And therefore, the caveat, as was earlier mentioned, is very important that in all this, you can only qualify if you can prove that one, you had a relationship, and two, that relationship offered you a stay in the UK based on that spouse, and three, the relationship is broken down, i.e. separation or divorce. Of course, it's the separation stage, because we are not looking at the point where you've already divorced, because once you divorce, you've severed the relationship. So there is separation, and separation, according to the law, is separation, I call it separation in heart and separation outward. Separation in heart, where you don't eat the person's food, you don't sleep with the person, you are in the same building, but you do things differently. You want a separation in heart. And also separation outside or outward, which is where both of you live apart. So if there's separation as a result of domestic violence, and again, the person is going through a lot, then you have to voice out. Once you voice out, there is help. What is there for you? If you have 2.5, that will be escalated to indefinite leave to remain. Sounds great, yes it does. All you have to show is indeed there is domestic violence. We know that domestic violence can be physical, can be sexual, can be financial, can be all that it calls for in terms of harm. And I don't know if you want to chip in.
Yeah, I was going to ask that where oftentimes people think that when we talk about domestic violence, then we're talking about physical abuse and all that. So can I apply for that indefinite leave to remain we're talking about when psychologically I'm being abused?
Yes, there's emotional abuse, and that is the unseen abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So the unseen abuse, there's no mark, but there's so much going on inward, and you have to prove it, because how do you translate what is within to be seen by others so that it can be ticked off as evidence towards your application?
How do I prove that?
Yes. So if there's something, if there's havoc inward, it will reflect your persona and your demeanor. persona in terms of how you appear, your demeanor, how you do things. And therefore, if it's boiled up emotionally, psychologically, it's affecting the way you do, you carry out your daily chores. For example, somebody might have boiled so much within that even when they hear people call out a name, they think they are calling them. And they will say, yes. Why are you saying yes? Oh, I heard my name. I heard Charles. Oh, but nobody has called you. There's something that is within which is reflected through that action. So that psychosis that is happening can reflect in that sense. You need help then. And therefore, once the person is receiving counseling, receiving mental health support, that report from the mental health specialist or assessors, your GP intervention, all this will go towards proving the fact that what is unseen is reflected in this manner and evidenced in this way.
Right. Now, evidencing that to the authorities, the police, for instance, do I have to report, first of all, to some authority, sort of, to the police, to the council, to my GP or whatever? Would that suffice to show that I'm facing a situation like that?
So, I mean, the policies and laws that we have in the UK abhors such behaviors, as in domestic violence. And therefore, regardless of the nature of violence, you have to report it. So the first step is the report. You report to the GP, who will carry out medical assessment if there is any sign that will be picked up. If there is no sign, it could be mental health impact that will be carried out. Again, it depends on the nature of the abuse. Of course, you have to report to the police. The police will ask you whether you want to press a charge or not. It's not compulsory that you press a charge. And therefore, if you don't want to, for whatever reason, you can tell the police that I don't want to press a charge. But suffice to say that you have reported it, and you have date and time that you reported and where you reported the incident. Then you also have to seek help from charity organizations. So if you're a man, we have men's refuge. And if you're a woman, we have women's refuge. So the refuge is for both men and women. Yeah. So you report. If it's about the fact that because of what is happening, you are living with friends, because the only family you have is that spouse. So you are living with friends, and you become destitute for whatever, as a result. You can call the shelter, charity called the shelter, because they offer shelter or place accommodation, so to speak, to those people who are going through such situations. So the range of, we also have migrant support networks. So wherever you live, you can have a migrant support network in the area that you speak to. So you can see that at least going through about 5 places you can report that to. Then all this will be documented. So you can have at least 3 pieces of evidence to support that. And the next stage will be your own account, which if you are doing it yourself, you have to put your account together. A lawyer is assisting you, a lawyer will take your account and write it in a form of statement to add to the evidence. And all the people that you have contacted, the lawyer will speak to them for them to confirm that you spoke to them and whatever they did to assist you. If it's a GP support or GP treatment, GP will provide report. If it is mental health, counseling that you sought. For example, we have camps, MHS. So camps is there to support those people who are going through that. So you go there and you ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel? What's your mood and all those unseen things? Yeah, it's you and your feeling, and you have to tell them. Once you put all this together and be able to write whatever report they have based on the assessment to support that, yes, they put you through therapy. Sometimes some people, depending on the nature of their experience or what they are going through, they may be suffering from stress and depression, and they might be put on antidepressants. All these will be put together as part of your evidence, the medication you are on and all that. We'll put together, because if not for this, you wouldn't be taking antidepressants. What for? And therefore, your case is that you are going through.
So then, eventually, when you've been able to provide enough evidence that you're going through that, and you put your application through, what if, for instance, I have some limited leave to remain in the UK, would I then be pushed ahead of the queue, if I'm able to use that expression, to be giving indefinite leave to remain? Or then I may have to probably go through other routes to achieve the indefinite leave to remain status.
So let's look at the policy objective. Why did the government introduce this policy? The reason is to safeguard people out of the abusers.
Okay.
So if the person who is abusing you is the one who holds your sponsorship certificate, let me put that way, because that's the person is your sponsor. I'm not talking about listeners. I'm not talking about skilled worker sponsorship. I'm using sponsorship in context, in that your husband or your wife is the one sponsoring you, and they have given you 2.5 based on their own status. So if they are saying that, you know what, sometimes some people will even say that, okay, all right, we'll see. We'll get there. 2.5. Very soon, you come back.
That's a massive threat.
Yeah, we'll see who's going to renew it for you. Or I will call the Home Office and tell them that, you know what, all these, call it blackmail.
Yeah.
So all these forms of blackmail will be going on. And why did the government introduce that? So that those people will be protected from the shackles of the abusers who are the sponsors.
Okay.
And so once the person is taken away to support in terms of accommodation and all that, they still need to regularize their stay. It cannot be from where they came from. It has to be from somewhere else.
Okay.
And that will be government. And therefore, we call that amnesty of a sort for those people. So they escalate the leave to indefinite. Because there's no point giving them 2.5 with the view to renew. Who's going to renew it for them? So if you government is helping them to renew, you might as well give them automatic.
Take them to the ultimate, obviously, so they can
settle. That's
settle.
the policy underpinning of this application.
Well, if you just joined us, we've gotten into this discussion segment of the whole show, and Lawyer Charles Asma is helping us through the nugget that we brought you, and that's the indefinite leave to remain for people who are facing domestic violence. You can apply if you have had or you have a visa to stay in the UK as the partner of someone who's a British citizen, a person with permission to settle in the UK permanently, indefinite leave to remain or enter, that's what we're referring to, a person with pre-settled or settled status under the EU settlement scheme, a member of the UK Armed Forces who has served for at least 4 years, a person with permission to stay in the UK as a refugee, and you must also show that your relationship broke down because of domestic violence or abuse from your partner or your partner's family. And that's quoted from the appendix victim of domestic abuse to the immigration rules. Now, that aside, I know now people are biting their fingers and saying, yeah, I've got the answer to the question and all that. Yes, just stick with that. I'll come back to it at the tail end of the program. But we're going to go into our discussion. And when we have done that, we will get you to put your questions to Lawyer Charles Asma, who is our guest and resource person. We'll do that. Adequate maintenance for child entry clearance applications. How do you do the calculations? We'll be right back.
Based in London, we are a dynamic award-winning firm specialising in a range of legal services. Welcome to BWF Solicitors, a trusted and experienced law firm specialising in immigration and nationality, appeals and judicial review, dispute resolution, family and matrimonial and other family law disputes with international context. These include matters such as private child arrangement orders, contested and uncontested divorce, non-molestation for domestic violence, and financial remedy. Our childcare and family team appreciate the issues facing you at such a difficult time. Our advice is delivered in a confidential and sensitive manner. Meet Bernard Owusu, senior partner. With over 32 years of experience and known for his expertise and dedication to serving our clients and the community. BWF Solicitors stands for integrity, respect, excellence, teamwork, diversity, inclusion, and service to the community. We provide tailored assistance specific to your case. At BWF Solicitors, every day is filled with dedication, creativity, and a commitment to finding the best solutions for our clients. Our team at BWF Solicitors is ready to assist you with all your legal needs. You can find us at the 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NP. Our main office line is 0208 493 7340, or our emergency line is 07712 761 884.
Well, let's get into where I have I promise adequate maintenance application for children. Uh, Many to sustain how do you how much I think
Thank you very much. Viewers and listeners, once again, thank you for staying put and glued to your seats and keeping faith. So today's conversation, as we have already introduced, is to do with adequate maintenance as of the application you are making for your child. We know that within the immigration rule, there is financial requirement for spouses and financial requirement for children and financial requirement for child and spouse together. If you are applying for your spouse, that is financial requirement, and you have to show the 29,000 per annum gross, as we have already told you the changes to the rules in April. If you are self-employed, you have to show a profit of 29,000. That is profit for tax, but after all your expenses happen, that's where the profit is. If you are applying with for your spouse and a child, to says that the 29,000 will cover both the spouse and the child. Because there's spouse involved, you have to keep to the financial requirement of 29,000. But if there's no spouse and only a child is applying to join a parent in the UK, then you have to show adequate maintenance. Adequate maintenance. There are other exceptions for spouses, but today's conversation, as we have mentioned, is adequate maintenance for child entry clearance application. So
in this case, you don't have to show 29,000. You have to show that there is adequate income or means to be able to look after yourself and that child who is joining you in the UK. So how do you show the adequate maintenance is today's conversation. So let's not look at the 29,000, but we look at a child is applying what is adequate for the child and yourself as a spouse or as a parent once the child joins you in the UK. We are focusing on applying for a child. So the law is that to show adequate maintenance, you have to look at your monthly, cut it down to weekly. So weekly income altogether, then the income will include benefit, will include your income from employment, will include if you're a student, maintenance allowance, that's the student loan for maintenance purposes, all forms of income that you receive as a parent, you put together one pot, call it income. Then you compare, of course, you have to pay your bills. So what bills do you have to consider? Because you need the money for maintenance, food, clothing, and other living needs. You have to show that you have covered the mandatory needs. The mandatory needs are, for the purposes of this conversation, your rent and council tax. Because we know that rent and council tax go hand in hand. So once you pay your council tax and you pay your rent, you look at how much is left for you to spend. If it's enough for you and your child, then we say it is adequate.
So, if you're not able to have enough after all those deductions, would I be okay to seek support from elsewhere? Elsewhere, as in a member of a family can help me put something into my account, probably to support me regularly, or I seek government support. Would that be enough for me to meet the requirement?
Thank you. So, so the last week's conversation is relevant to today's conversation. Because last week we looked at different sources of the income. So today we are saying that you have the income now.
Okay.
How do you show that that income you have is still adequate?
Okay.
We are going to go through brief calculations so that viewers and listeners will understand. So yes, if family and friends are supporting you, and that is regular support, that is sustainable, they have a letter or note to confirm that yes, they are available and they are keeping you. Yeah, that is part of your pot of income. Then if you are a student, as I said, you are taking student maintenance loans. That is also part of your income, because you are using that money to maintain yourself.
Okay.
You are working part-time, part of your income, full-time, part of your income. How many jobs? Part of your income. So all sources, including government support, universal credit or whatever credit support you get from the government, part of the income. So we put all this together.
Okay.
Then we look at whether it is still adequate, which will be the
So the adequacy calculation, we looked at all the incomes, put them together. What do I need to, I mentioned in my introduction, what do I need to multiply? What do I need to add? And what do I need to take away?
Good. Yeah. So this is called functional skills. When you go to school, even at college level, everybody is supposed to have functional skill. And it is functional skill because your ability to add, subtract, divide, and multiply will make you functional. You go to the market, the change will not be more or less for you. If you don't know whether it is more, if you don't know how to do it or check, or then of course you will be outsmart all the time. Yeah, so functional skills important, literacy, numeracy. Functional skills for today will be more of numeracy because it's about numbers.
Okay.
So let's not worry about the literacy side of things.
All right.
So numeracy here, okay, what do I need to add? What do I need? So the rule is that, and it's a case law provision, that if somebody is able to show this, then the person's income is deemed to be adequate. So we always look at what people who are on benefit receive.
Okay.
So if somebody is on benefit and is able to survive, and you are not on benefit and also receive the same amount that the person who is on benefit receives from the support system, then if they can survive on this amount, then you should also be able to survive on yours.
Okay.
Even if it is not more than theirs.
Okay.
But the law is that it shouldn't be less than theirs. So the question is, how much is theirs, or how much are those people receiving? So we could look at the benefit threshold for 2024-2025. You know, we have entered 2024-2025 financial year
from the beginning of
6th of April.
Yeah.
So we are talking about 2024-2025 financial year. What is the benefit threshold? So on the screen, thank you very much, producer. You see benefit and pension rates 2024 to 2025. And we are looking at weekly benefit. Weekly benefit. So the person who is not on benefit, but they are working or receiving other forms of income to support themselves and want to bring their child, should show that in terms of weekly income, what they have after everything is equal to the person who is on benefit receives. So go down for me, producer. Down to the weekly threshold. Stay there a little up, please. Just go up there. Yes, stay there for me. So you can see that we have monthly equivalence and weekly equivalence.
Okay.
We have Greater London and the rest of Great Britain. So you look at where you live. If you are within Greater London, you look at your threshold level. And you are outside Greater London, you look at which is the rest of Great Britain. You look at yours as well. So if you look at the figures on the board for 2024-2025, people who are on benefit, that's a comparator. We are comparing this person who wants to bring their child to the UK to the person who is on benefit living in the UK and able to survive. So how much are they surviving on? It says couples, that is husband and wife,
with or without
children, or a single claimant, so single parent. And obviously, if the person is going to apply under sole responsibility threshold or criteria, paragraph 297 of the immigration rules, it will be single claimant. Because the person will say, I'm a single parent, i.e. a father or a mother, and the father or mother is nowhere to be found in the country the child lives in. Yeah. Or it could be that there's no sole responsibility. Both parents are living in the UK, they want to bring the child, but their income is not enough, or their income we have to check to see whether it's equivalent to this. So you can see that theirs will be coupled.
Okay.
Yeah. So a couple or single claimant with a child of qualifying age. So a child of a qualifying age will be a child who receives benefits.
Okay.
And they receive up to, I think, before their 18th birthday.
Okay.
Yes, so to speak. And therefore, so once the child is qualified, let's say the child receives as well what you are claiming for that child. So in this case, that person who is on benefit is receiving £486.98 every week.
Every week. Okay.
Every week. Now, this is those in London. We also looking at single adult without a child, 326. So let's say the person is living without a child and they have only one child that they want to bring from abroad. Then they will compare theirs to £326.29.
Okay.
If you are living in the UK already with a child, then we'll look at 486.98, a couple or not. So we look at that. Now, if we go down, it says greater, no, sorry, stay there, rest of Great Britain. So if you are outside London, then we look at those figures within rest of Great Britain.
Okay, so that would be 423,
46,
and
283,
71,
depending on your circumstance.
Okay.
So this is benefit money. You are not on benefit, but you want to say that if your child comes, you'll be able to live
without putting your hand
to public funds,
putting a hand in the pot.
Exactly. So if you are on benefit, how much would you have had to be able to survive? We know. So the rule is this: A minus B should be equal or greater than C, and this is C. C is on the board.
C is either the 486.98 or 326.29, depending on your circumstance.
Exactly.
And whether you are in Greater London or outside
of
London.
Okay. So that's C. So viewers and listeners, we now know C. All right. We move on to... So we now move on to A and B. What is A? A is your income a week. So let's take example of somebody who gets support from friends, somebody who is receiving student loan, somebody who is getting universal credit, somebody who is doing part-time job, all put together. The person's income for, let's say, a year is come up to, say, 24,000 for simplicity. 24,000.
Okay.
So we have to scale 24,000 down to a week. Because that is a year.
That will be divided by 52. Okay.
What do you get?
461.53.
461. So if the person is living within Greater London, will 461 be adequate? Greater London is 486.98. So if yours is 461, based on this calculation, they have to find extra job to top up, or a friend who can guarantee that they are helping you as well, and we top up.
So then we have 483.
483. No, so we're talking about 486.
486. Okay, 486.96.
All right. So that's C.
That's C.
So that is the answer. That's where we are leading to.
Now, what I'm trying to find out is the difference between what your income would have been and what is expected to be. So I was trying to find out the difference.
But you haven't already considered B.
Okay.
Yeah. So the A. So I get what you mean. So the difference between the two would be B.
Where you have to find that money to top up.
So that's the B, more or less. So let's finish with A, B. We know C.
Yeah.
So A is...
I've got my calculator ready. That's
awesome. So A is your income. What is B? B will be your immediate expense.
Okay.
What we call the super necessary expense. All your expenses are necessary, but some are super.
Okay.
And once you don't have a place to sleep, the last thing you'll be thinking about is food and clothing.
Okay.
You're on the street and you're thinking about food. You want to find a place to sleep first, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, then, right. So the super necessary expense in terms of living expense is your shelter, which is rent. So you pay your rent and your council tax. So let's assume that this person who receives income of 481 already is less than C.
Okay.
Isn't it? So let's say that this person has a friend supporting here and there. So all together, they are getting 30,000. So now let's work with 30,000.
Okay. So let me get my calculator out. 30,000.
So divided by 52.
Hold on one second. I'll try to get it on the screen so people will see what my calculator is saying. So 30,000. Where's my calculator? Come over here. 30,000. Okay. Divided by 52. That gives me the weekly. Oh, no, it's gonna. Oh, quick, stop that. 30,000 divided by 52. That gets me £576.92.
So 576.92. Then we have to look at rent and So do this. Subtract 486.96 from this.
486.96.
Sorry, 98. Sorry, 0.98. Go back.
So 30,000 divided by 52 gives me 576.92.
Yeah.
Then how much do I have
minus
to
486.98.
That gives me £89.94.
So this should be your rent and council tax a week.
Okay.
If it is more than this, then you are going to fall below the C. Because we use the C to work backwards.
Okay. So if my council tax and rent is more than £89.94, then it means that
you don't meet the threshold.
I don't meet the threshold.
Then your income is not adequate to maintain you.
So then I have to find something to top it up.
Either you find something to increase the 30,000, which is the 576 a week, or you talk to your landlord to reduce your rent.
That my landlord will do.
As for council tax, you cannot tell them to reduce it.
That my landlord will not do.
Yes. Okay. Right.
So I have to find another means of getting money in.
So you have options. You increase A or reduce B, because it's one minus the other.
Okay.
If B is going to stay, if your rent cannot be reduced, your council tax cannot be reduced, then you have to increase your income.
Okay.
If you're able to get the C to be 486.98, greater than N, or 423, the rest of the UK.
Okay. So let's say that I am able to get 3,000 for the year.
3,000 or 30,000?
No, 3,000 extra for the year.
That would be
so that would be 33,000. Let's see if that will be enough. So that's divided by 52. That gives me £634.61.
So maybe if you let people see what you are calculating.
Okay. Let's see. Let me get my thing here. Technology.
All right. So okay, we'll come back to that. So you go ahead.
Okay. So 634.61 will be my weekly for the 33,000 now that I'm
How much?
634.61.
So 634. So 634.
Yes.
31.
So then I need to subtract
486.98.
And that brings me to £147.63.
So if your rent and council tax is still £89.94 as before, then you can see that you have more than 486,
so you have met the
and therefore yours will be greater than 486.
Okay.
Because it should be equal to or more than. It shouldn't be less than.
Okay. So then I'll ask the question. If, for instance, I have evidence that I earn 30,000 gross, and then in calculating whether I meet the financial requirement, somebody gives me a bulk of 3,000 to add to my annual to make it 33,000. Would that be accepted? Or I find myself in a situation where 3,000 divided by 12, for instance, then we're getting what? 20, almost £30 a month to add to that. Would that be okay? So I'm looking at those two situations where I get a monthly something coming in, or a bulk at the beginning of the financial year to support that, because the person knows that I need to meet that to get my calculation done. Would those two scenarios create issues, especially where I get the bulk?
You also have to be careful not to be doing creative accounting. There's something called creative accounting in accountancy, where you make the figures to suit what you want to do. That is making up stories.
Okay.
If it is found out, that is likely to be misrepresentation, and that will fall under Part 9 suitability rules, earning evidence or earning threshold. You don't want to do that. You want it to be natural. The person who's giving you 3,000 for the year, why can't the person say, I pledge to give you £100 or £120 or £150 every week. And it's coming every week.
Every week.
Instead of saying, take £3,000 for your immigration application.
So then the person could set a standing order, for instance, that comes into your account every specific period. Then you can use that in your calculation.
So at least you can evidence that this support is coming, or the person can confirm that in writing, that they've been supporting you and they will continue to support this amount every week or every month. Then we can convert it to week. But the person to say that I have given my friend £3,000 to live on for the whole year, that doesn't happen often. It looks too artificial.
Okay.
So now the money is not the gross; it's your net.
It has to be the
It
net.
has to be the net.
So the net
After your tax.
After your tax.
And national insurance.
National insurance.
And pension deductions.
Yeah. Okay.
So your net on your pay slip. If it is not a wage slip or wage income, if it is student loan, maintenance loan, that will show on the student loan letter or your bank statement.
Okay.
If a friend giving you, the friend will confirm in writing, and also we can see what they've been giving you. If they don't transfer but they give you cash, then they have to write for the letter to confirm that they are supported by their ID and also copy or proof of their own earning, that they are working, so there's pay slip, or they have bank statement. Usually they are working, so pay slip confirm that they are able to sustain that support. So all those put together, you are on benefit, you are getting something small, you can add to that. Now, so you can see that it's easy to do the calculation.
Okay.
Sometimes the calculation looks too cumbersome, but you can see that it's not as cumbersome as we sometimes think. All you have to do is, what are my super expenses? Council tax and rent. How much do I make every month? Divide by 4 or multiply by 12 and divide by 52 to get exactly
what you get for the week. Yeah.
For the week. Then you subtract your rent. You know your rent because you are paying your rent. If you have discussed with the landlord has agreed to reduce it for you, they will give you a letter to say that from this time your rent will be this, for following the discussions we had about rent reduction or review. Then to go towards that. Or somebody will, for example, you are living alone in this room, your child is coming, your child will need another room. So you have told the landlord that, you know what, I want agreement in principle.
Okay.
And the agreement will be conditional to my child coming.
Okay.
So we call it condition subsequent. So the subsequent matter will be that if my child arrives, I will get 2 rooms.
Okay.
If my child doesn't arrive, I keep to the 1 room, so that you don't overly commit to a rent, which you are taking up with the view of your child joining you.
Okay.
So if you have a letter from the landlord confirming that they have agreed to give you extra room, and this extra room agreement will take effect once your child arrives, then you can use, they are able saying that these 2 rooms, the rent will be X amount to help with your calculation. Then you don't pay rent, so that you don't have to prove rent payment. What you are saying is that there's accommodation in place, and also the accommodation will not create extra burden in terms of reducing my maintenance income. And therefore, after paying this rent, once my child comes, and paying the council tax thereof, there will still be enough maintenance for me and my child or the children coming.
Okay. So in effect, what we really need to take note of is how much you will declare as your income from all the various sources. Then we'll calculate that for the year. Then again, we'll have to look at how much it will come down to per week. We're doing that because as lawyer has said, that if you do not have recourse to public funds, you should be able to maintain yourself as to the level that a person who is earning some income from the public funds would be earning. And we have the bands, one in Greater London and one outside of Greater London. And those figures are figures you need to really look at and work with. Now, if your income minus your expenditure is less than or not even equal to the Greater London band or outside of London band, then it means that you do not meet the requirement. So what you have to do is to find some income to top up so that your expenditure, and when you take all those things, you will have enough to meet your council tax and your rent. If that is not enough, then you would have to find the extra income. Now, the extra income, as lawyer has maintained, is that you find something that comes in, and commonsensically, you would have to prove that you're having something either weekly, monthly, or bi-weekly, or whatever. Not one big bulk. So you're trying to be smart and more intelligent than the Anansi we often know. Now, this is what we have learned, and I know you have got so many questions that you may want to ask. If you have any other question outside of what we have discussed, I am inviting you to come onto the line 0208-493-7345 or 07399208468 on WhatsApp and text. It's all here on the community and the law, and we're doing that courtesy BWF Solicitors, our trusted partners when it comes to the law. So get yourself ready, get on the phones, get your texts, put your comments in there as your questions in the comment section below on Facebook, YouTube, and all the social media platforms that we have. All those who are online, I so much appreciate you, and I would want to get you contributing and interacting as well. I'll be right back.
Based in London, we are a dynamic award-winning firm specialising in a range of legal services. Welcome to BWF Solicitors, a trusted and experienced law firm specialising in immigration and nationality, appeals and judicial review, dispute resolution, family and matrimonial, and other family law disputes with international context. These include matters such as private child arrangement orders, contested and uncontested divorce, non-molestation for domestic violence, and financial remedy. Our childcare and family team appreciate the issues facing you at such a difficult time. Our advice is delivered in a confidential and sensitive manner. Meet Bernard Owusu, our esteemed senior partner. With over 32 years of experience and known for his expertise and dedication to serving our clients and the community. BWF Solicitors stands for integrity, respect, excellence, teamwork, diversity, inclusion, and service to the community. We provide tailored assistance specific to your case. At BWF Solicitors, every day is filled with dedication, creativity, and a commitment to finding the best solutions for our clients. Our team at BWF Solicitors is ready to assist you with all your legal needs. You can find us at the 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NP. Our main office line is 0208 493 7340, or our emergency line is 07712 761 884.
Thank you very much for sticking around. So now we're ready for your questions, your concerns, and the issues you want lawyer Charles Asma to address. We are coming your way courtesy BWF Solicitors are trusted partners when it comes to the law. So if you need any expert advice on any of the topics we have discussed, the updates we have given you, and the rest of it, call 020-8493-7340 or emergency number 077-127-61 884 077 127 61884. You can also call Charles Asma himself on the number 07947 636037 07947 636037, and he will be so gracious to answer you. So let's see what questions you have brought on board here. Pick a quick one. Lydia Paul, what are common mistakes applicants make when demonstrating adequate maintenance? And how can I avoid these pitfalls in my application? Yeah, we're talking about financial requirements for our dependents here, but Lydia is asking for adequate maintenance, generally, maybe.
Right. So thank you, Lydia. So Lydia is asking a simple question: what are the mistakes that common people make? If I say common means non-legal people. Yeah. So the person may be working, earning whatever amount, and they just declare as their income.
Right.
Because they know or they have heard that if you are bringing your child, you don't have to show 29,000.
Okay.
And therefore, if I'm earning something, I will bring my child based on that. No. You have to show that it sits well within the threshold calculation. A minus B greater or equal to C, where C is 486 pounds, 98 pence Greater London, or 423.96 pence, the rest of UK. So that's one common mistake. Or somebody might be self-employed and they have earned the whole year, let's say 40,000, but they have spent everything, and therefore once we take their expenditure for the whole year for the business from that 40,000 that the business has earned or they have earned as self-employed people, it is, let's say, 10,000. If you divide 10,000 by 52, you see that it is very, 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 very negligible, and that is a common mistake, thinking that my money 40,000 as a self-employed person is huge enough, even though you have spent everything as expenses so that you don't pay tax. If you don't pay the tax, you not get the advantage within the immigration. So these are the common mistakes. How to avoid it? Make sure that you understand the calculation. A minus B greater or equal to C. We have shown you the benefit threshold. You know your income, you know your rent, you know your council tax, which stand for B. So if you subtract your council tax and rent a week from your income, which has been reduced to a week, your leftover should be greater than, in other words, should be more than 486 pound 98 pence or equal to 486.98 if you are within London, or the equivalent of 423.96 pence if you are within the rest of the UK. Of course, if we're a single parent, we are saying it's 323 pounds, round it up to 324 a week. And if it is Greater London, it's lower than that. So these are the things you have to look out for and check to make sure that you have marked yourself and it sits well within the marking scheme so that you can pass. And the pass mark is 486.98.
Well, thank you very much for watching with us, Bernard Fusu. I have Emilia Phillips, or Emilia Phipps, really. Kwesi Boateng, Ajiwan and Ajimai, Thompson Abrokwa, you're watching with us. Kobe Breezy Breeze, Dennis Ebo Walker, Kapoke Akufu, Tilly Dumas, usual, Nana Tiahine, Yawin Team, Margaret Dumensa. Margaret, you celebrated your birthday earlier in the week. I think we caught up with that. Happy birthday, though belated. May God bless you richly. We have Gina Aduse and the host of others, Smith Mercy. You're all watching with us. Now, my question is here: what is the current fee for indefinite leave to remain application?
In the UK, or because it is remain, we take that it's within the UK. It's 2,885 pounds. 2,885 85.
2,885.
Yes.
Oh, okay. There's another one here that says, what's the difference between this discretionary housing benefit and the actual? Is there anything like that?
Right. And anything discretionary means that you may not qualify, but will consider it.
Mm-hmm.
That's discretionary.
Okay.
So based on what they consider. Those who qualify are the standard people, pregnant women,
Mm-hmm.
people with children, people who are destitute or homeless. So those on the top of the ladder. You know, we have housing ladder, housing claim ladder.
Okay.
So those at the top are the most vulnerable people. And anybody else will be at the bottom. So you have to join the queue. So depending on your circumstance, they may offer you discretionary consideration and grant, or they will tell you you don't qualify because of your circumstance.
Okay. So if for instance, I'm just thinking that if the discretionary is giving the person and the person qualifies and they calculate the actual, if there is a difference that is larger than the discretionary, then that will be topped up to for the person to enjoy, isn't it? So for instance, if the discretionary was £250 a week, but they calculate the need of the person and it comes up to 270, would they pay the difference?
Well, I think what the person, if I got a question right, is that if I make an application, sometimes they will say you don't qualify. Sometimes they say you may qualify.
Mm-hmm.
May, must. Must will be the automatic, as the person said, mandatory qualification.
Okay.
So the mandatory qualification for housing claim or support claim will be those who are vulnerable and need support from the state in terms of housing. So pregnant women.
Would those facing domestic violence qualify?
Yes, those facing domestic violence. Those who are homeless, more or less. If you are facing domestic violence, you are likely to be homeless, but the person may say leave the home and stuff like that. Yeah, so yeah, we know those ones that when you go to the council, they will say, what is your circumstance? And they will tell you, okay, put your name down, but we'll start you from the bottom of the ladder. Or you have to check your circumstance. But if you are within, they move you up so that they can deal with that.
Okay. All right. Well, folks, I think time and tide waits for no man, and we can be exceptions to this rule. We ran out of time, but I need to go back to our nugget and to our question. You know, earlier on, Pamela and myself tried to get you to understand some of those situations. Now, domestic violence, indefinite leave to remain eligibility requirement, and we're saying that you can apply if you have or have had a visa to stay in the UK as the partner of someone who is a British citizen, a person with permission to settle in the UK permanently, and has indefinite leave to remain or enter, a person with pre-settled or settled status under the EU settlement scheme, a member of the UK Armed Forces who served for at least 4 years, a person with permission to stay in the UK as a refugee. We stressed that you must also show that your relationship broke down because of domestic violence or abuse from your partner or your partner's family. Now, I'm going to bring the question back and then see whether you would want to change your mind or stick to the answer that you gave me earlier on. Adra Mensah came to the UK as a partner of an EEA citizen who has settled status, also known as indefinite leave to remain. She applied and was granted pre-settled status. Adra has unfortunately experienced domestic abuse in her marriage and has been sent out of her matrimonial home. Can Adra Mensah apply for indefinite leave on the basis of having experienced domestic violence? A. Well, she's a spouse of an EU citizen and therefore cannot apply for indefinite leave to remain. Could it be B, that she meets the eligibility requirements because she is a partner of a person with settled status under Appendix EU and her relationship is broken down, and therefore she can successfully apply for indefinite leave to remain if she has the necessary supporting evidence to back it up. Then the third one was she can apply for further leave to remain after 5 years on another route. Lasma, when I put this earlier on and I asked people to answer, it looked like the most common answer was B, where it says that Adura Mensah meets the eligibility requirements because she is a partner of a person with settled status under Appendix EU, and her relationship is broken down, and therefore she can successfully apply for indefinite leave to remain if she has the necessary supporting evidence to back it up. Well, if you said A or B or C, whatever, obviously one is a multiple choice. You have people rallying around and guessing. But B seemed to be the popular answer. Let me get your perspective of it.
Okay, so we're going to do elimination, and that will take us to the target. So from the nugget, we're told that those who qualify are those whose spouses were holding British citizenship, those whose spouses were holding indefinite leave to remain, those whose spouses were holding EU pre-settled or settled, those whose spouses were armed forces service men and women and would have served for 4 years and therefore would have qualified. And it tells us that in all this, there should be a relationship which is broken down due to domestic violence. So these are the checklists. Now we go through A. I mean, we have read the story Adwoa circumstance, and the fact pattern suggests that Adwoa was a partner of an EEA citizen who has a certain status. So it's not just enough to say that it's a EU citizen. If the person is an EU citizen on only visiting the UK for 90 days and they go back because they don't have settled status or pre-settled, then they don't qualify. And we are told that this person is an EA national with settled status. We are told also that she applied and was okay. All right. So she herself applied and was granted pre-settled, similar to somebody who would have come to the UK based on 2.5, or somebody who would have applied to remain under 2.5 with 2.5 in that 10-year route or 5-year route. But this person has pre-settled. So that means they were sponsored by the settled person. We are told that the marriage, so that she's experiencing domestic violence and her marriage, and has been sent out of her home. You see, so she's been driven out of the house, and maybe she's living elsewhere with friends or with some charity. Yeah. Tick. Right. A. She is. So we are saying that if Adwoa can apply for indefinite under the circumstance, is that true? We are saying that she is the spouse of an EU citizen and therefore cannot apply for indefinite. We are told that spouse of EU citizens who have pre-settled based on that citizen who has themselves leave will qualify. So A is out.
Okay.
B has a lot. So let's go to C.
C. All right.
C. She can apply for further leave to remain after 5 years. This has nothing to do with the story. And therefore, this is an odd one that was thrown in to confuse people. So this one is out because she can apply for further leave to remain. We are not saying, what we are saying is that if you're experiencing this and you qualify based on the criteria, you can apply for indefinite. We are not talking about what you can do outside indefinite. We are saying that you can apply. Can Adwoa apply? So for you to tell us that she can apply for further leave to remain, we are not talking about further leave to remain. We are talking about indefinite leave to remain. And therefore C is totally out. It leaves us with B. And if you look at B, once you unpack B, you realize that all the criteria are ticked off within B. And therefore B holds.
Okay. So then it tells me that B is the correct answer. And those of you who were on about B, I am telling you, and I can confidently say that you are correct for 3 maximum points. So with that, I want to say thank you very much. Now let's look at the detail of the answer as lawyer has said. VDA 41, the applicant must have or have at least granted permission, been granted permission, yes, as one of the following: a spouse, civil partner, or durable partner under Appendix EU with limited leave to enter or remain as a family member of relevant EEA citizen or of a qualified British citizen, as joining family member of a relevant sponsor, or as a family member who has retained the right of residence granted under paragraph EU3 or EU3A of that appendix. So 4.2 says the relationship between the applicant and their partner must have broken down permanently as a result of domestic abuse. And Adjoa Mensah had been driven away from her matrimonial home. So obviously, it's that. So the answer was B, which is which was the most popular for all of you that answer. So well done to all of you. And I go over to Maya Chizasma for us to have that summary of the calculation. A minus B must be equal or greater than C.
Thank you very much. So viewers and listeners, we wrap up, and I'll take the summary from the question that came: discretionary benefit and actual benefit. We are told that the benefit now is 486.98. So if it's 486.98, and that is what you should have been given. If based on your circumstance, you've been given something less than that, then that's discretionary. So the actual is within the threshold. Discretionary is anything outside the threshold. Now, we have today understood that if you are bringing a child to live with you in the UK, you do not have to show 29,000. You only have to show that your income after the rent and council tax is equivalent to those who are on benefit receive. And therefore, if yours is 486.98 or equivalent of 8 within London or outside of London, then you can bring your child. How do you get around it is a technical approach, and therefore you have to take your time and work it as a project so that when you put in the application, you are very, very confident that there wouldn't be any issue on maintenance. This is what the court will look at to see whether it is met or not.
Well, with that, we will be coming to the end of our story today. I told you that it was going to be very interesting, and it really has been, because Lawyer Charles Asma has helped us to look at adequate maintenance for child entry clearance application, how to calculate the amount required. A minus B must be equal to or greater than C. That you must also remember all the time. Well, but before I go, I want to remind you that same time next week, we will be having Emmanuel Praise program at Reading. In fact, 26th of May, which is Sunday, the week after, the week tomorrow. That is the day before the bank holiday, I should say. Emmanuel Praise is a musical program organized by the Alexa Champon Ministries to support preterm babies, people who are born preterm, or people who do not have the opportunity of traveling the whole of the 36 or 39 weeks that they are supposed to be in the womb. They are born premature, as sometimes we call them. And the event is organizing funds to buy incubators and other accessories to help people with that. So I would want to invite you to Reading on the 26th of May 2024. So we all go sing together. We'll be having Alexa Champon singing together with Dinah Hamilton, Minister OJ, and Akasi Brimpon, who will be helping us raise those funds, as I mentioned. So be there and help us. And this is brought to you and supported by BWTV and BWF Solicitors. 7 days to go, and between now and Sunday, the 26th of May, please come and get your tickets as well. AlexaChampon.com is where you can get your tickets, and you can also call 0744741731, 0744741731. 26th of May 2024. Yours truly will be the host. So come join me and let's have fun and praise the Lord as well. Now, with that, we come to the end of our good story we have had today, the 20 something, whatever. Well, it's the 18th of May 2024. And we have been discussing adequate maintenance for child entry clearance application, how to calculate that. We brought to you this very interesting discussion by courtesy of BWF Solicitors. Thank you to Lawyer Charles Asma. Thank you to BWF Solicitors for helping us do this. And thank you to you out there for staying with us for 2 solid hours and using part of your Saturday afternoon, your relaxing time, to sit with us and do that. On behalf of Professor Ade, my studio producer, on behalf of Pamela, my co-host, and also on behalf of Sheila and Padmodudu, who did the aesthetics and administrative work behind it, and on behalf of everybody that did the technical work, to the BWF Solicitors family, both here in the UK and in Ghana, I want to say thank you and Aiko to all of you. And I will want to ask that meet us again same time next week. My name is Oroku Frimpong. Good evening.